Let's get ready for some fire and brimstone. Oh my goodness. You know the hell I get sometimes for talking about God being, you know, both evil and good at the same time. You know, it's not like one guy like you and I running around, although it's probably a metaphor, that you and I have the capability of being both good and evil, and the image of God is what we're made in. You know, we can talk about that for a minute, because if you really looked about the image of the people in this Bible, you'd find they're pretty white. I mean, ghostly white people. From Adam and Eve on. I mean, my goodness. Where did the black people come from in this world when it comes to, like, you know, maybe one of the people that were saved in Noah's flood was a black person, you know? Or this gene just jumped out of nowhere, you know, came to life. But you'll find that, you know, it's really white. It's very white, you know, and Jesus coming up with this Greek name for him instead of Yeshua, you know, which would be, you know, a lot more Jewish for a Messiah, for a Jewish Messiah. And all these white folks running around in Bethlehem and the Middle East, you know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. There wouldn't be white people there if it wasn't for this stupid book putting Israel smack dab in the middle of a bunch of people, you know. But, you know, that's funny because, you know, it's almost like we're being set up for this, because, you know, if you read the Bible correctly, and, you know, you can always say that it's been changed a lot of times, it's been manipulated here and there, but there are certain parts of it, and you can't really change all of it. There are ways of checking it. But with regards, if anybody ever goes back and finds it, to check it out. Like these end time things, you know, that I talked about in my last little segment. End times is when you've had enough. It's the story of, you know, like Moses. Let my people go. My people is me, all of me, everything that's about me, you know. I had this one lady that was wanting to be, you know, she owns a gallery here in town, and for me to work with her, I had to sign this contract. And, you know, and I have been working and living on my own without a contract for over 25 years since I've been here. And so, you know, I owe hardly anything to these other places as far as, like, you know, where I get my popularity from and how, you know, what's all the hoopla about. But, you know, she made her mind up that she wanted, you know, 30% of everything that I did. From my shop here, from my mind even. I couldn't give nothing away without asking permission and all this, you know, and it's like, what kind of control is that? You know, and I have so many different things. I paint murals, I work in the theater, and, you know, I work in the fine art field. I also work in the public art realm, which is kind of poor, you know, and I teach, and I do all these different things. This is all the different sides of me that come to life, and then someone wants to control over every piece of that. They want 10, 20, 30% of it. Well, that's what this Bible gives the clergy. And remember, the church used to be absolutely responsible for everything, for thought, for building your roads, to creating your artwork and stuff like that, and taking your money, taking your money, or killing you, or somehow or another pushing you out of town, you know, because there's ways of taking care of people who weren't believers, who didn't want to follow suit with everyone else, you know, just play the game, you motherfuckers, you know. Well, you know, we've been playing the game for so long, but now it's starting, you know, something's cracking, you know. This could be an end times, when they talk about, you know, when things are really starting to fall apart. And things kind of are, you know. Satan's rearing his ugly head right in front of us, you know. I don't know if you've seen that new show, Katy Perry's new little song. You know, and I don't listen to a whole lot of new things, but let me tell you, that's some freaky shit. That's some freaky shit. That's what it's called, feeding from the lower end of things. Even though it's really good and it's smart, it's very well put together. You know, it's got a classy beat to it in some ways, you know, bon appetit. That's cool. Except, you know, we're just a little bent on, you know, being a little bit too shady there, you know, when you're dealing with sex and drugs, and, you know, you can do what the hell you want to with me, and, And of course, with the way things are going right now, the world is actually this, what they call these people, the shadow government, you know. They absolutely depend on you believing or staunchly, like what, you know, like, I don't believe it. So they want you to have both of that. They want you to, that's just ludicrous, you know. And you got the other one saying, oh my God, you know. So this is important for this world to exist around us, to keep the chaos going, so that nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And as long as you're confused and everything, then you won't see the truth. You won't even care about it when you do find it. That's what, look how many people. I got like 100 people that may or may not listen to me, you know, and I work hard on other channels to drag people over here because, you know, it's like word of mouth. And you know, and I have to be like bombastic to get their attention. I gotta say, you know, Jesus never existed, you know, you know, I've heard that. So, you know, sometimes I gotta be a little bit more crazy to get somebody's attention. But get their attention, maybe I will. But, you know, when they get to me, they can't find me. I want to call him an atheist, you know, but I guess the worst thing I can call him is a new ager, you know. Unless, oh my goodness, call me a new ager. Wow, you know, well, that might be demonic, and you know, in a lot of people's ways, because you've taken the blood out of things. Oh, how can it be? No violence? No love through violence? Oh, I can't believe it. This is unbelievable. Listen, when you've had enough of this chaos, it's the end of times for you. I already had it. I talked about it. I had it about a few years ago, and it came out really mad. I was kind of really pissed off. I was very pissed off because all this world of mine now makes a lot of sense. And when I talk to other people, that don't make sense. I said, how come it doesn't make sense to you? You plug in appliance into a female outlet, and the power and the light turns on. What cannot make what? Oh, because you have to go inside yourself and it happens independently on its own? What's so wrong with that? Oh my God, you know, that our bodies are built in with all these wonderful things that can help us, that we're not left all alone on this earth, that we're not disconnected from our Maker. There's something wrong with that? There's something wrong for people thinking that they can do everything, that they can do most everything on their own, you know? Is that it? You know, do we all have to fall to this Obama statement saying, no, everybody leans on everyone else, no one ever does anything on their own? That's a bunch of crap. I've lived my life for 55 years, and a goodly amount of it has been because I chose to do this on my own. But I had to lean on this person, I had to come over here. I've had to become servant, a subservient to do what I do. I've had enough. 30 years in the church, up to here with a deacon's outfit on. I've had enough. Let me go. The ruler of your temple says, no, I'm not going to let you go. I like you. You're my slave. And then, you know, since I've been out and all this trouble, and I said, damn, you know, just like those people in those 40 years walking around out in the desert, you know. Damn, I'm going to starve. We should have stayed at home. I would rather have, you know, been beat to death as long as I had food in my stomach, you know. I don't care being, you know, whipped, beat, stabbed, whatever, you know, treated like shit. As long as they fed me, you know. No, it's all up to me now. But I find I'm getting hungry too. And I have to go to work. It takes away from wanting to do this stuff. It doesn't take away my want. It takes away my time to be able to do it. And that's the story of these Bibles. So, you know, it's those guys, you know, when I tell you, you know, Martha and Mary, you know, it was, you know, Jesus, tell Mary to get up and help me. You know, we've got a banquet to take care of and stuff like that, you know. And Mary's just sitting there, you know, brushing Jesus and hanging out, you know, and petting him like it was a kitty cat and stuff like that. And he says, she's serving the Lord. That's what you do when you serve the Lord. You do absolutely nothing. You have the time for it. You make the time for it. But if you're busy all the time, go ahead, be busy. Do your do. He says, do your thing. Do what you got to do, but, she's doing her thing. It's like the idea of the tithing and stuff, with Caesar. Give it to Caesar. Let Caesar, you got to work. That's the outside of us, got to go to work. But give back to me what's mine. And that's the 10%, that little 10% that we tithe over to the other side. All of this makes so much more sense to me than trying to take money out of my pocket and feed these people that are going around fucking little children and stuff like that, and putting hatred out to the world and making people pray to destroy it. Heavenly Father, we figured out that the Father is not the person you're supposed to be praying to. You want to connect Father and Mother together, and then you pray into, you're not praying to anything. That's all. That's hell. You're praying. You don't have to pray to get hooked up to the Lord. You go into meditation, quietly go inside, and it's an electrical conduit that connects you to this Lord. You don't say anything. You don't hear anything. You don't even know that you were there, except for the beautiful things that show up into your world afterwards. The new heaven and the new earth open up, the new mind. But, you're going to have earthquakes, even when Jesus, when he finally dies, the split, there's a split, everything's cracked, everything. Well, that's because the new light's getting in, and it's the new growth, and it's almost like an earthquake has happened, or like a volcano, it's right after, and then there's that little growth starts to come out, and it's fresh and it's new. It's the new wine and the new wineskin. The new wine is the spirit. Wineskin is your body. That's what covers and holds on to this. If it doesn't make any sense to you, then you're not talking to the right guy here. If you've got to have it from someone who's wearing white and can speak the words all correctly and everything like that, then I got the wrong guy. This is just a simple shit, man. This guy came down, if he was real, he came down to poor people. Do you think that he came in to talking all high and mighty and shit like that? People wouldn't have nothing to do with them. People nowadays wouldn't have anything to do with this dude if he just came in all smelly and everything, hanging out with near-dead people and stuff like that, if they want to take the literal side of them. Look, they can't even take the spiritual, the symbolic side. They can't take oh, he's inside us already? Jesus is in here already? Oh my God. I've been waiting for him to come from outside forever. Well, you're not going to get him. He's always going to be missing. And if he does ever show up, it's not going to be no Jesus. I'll tell you that. And you got to know that. You got to know that. The Bible, there's more to the Bible than what you can see. And the Bible actually talks to us about how to stone that devil. And that devil does not like to get stoned. And so just to really tell you more about that end times is when you have had enough. You can be like Noah and go inside yourself and raise yourself with water up to this higher place. Let the troubles raise you up. You could go with Moses, and you climb that mountain, up the backside of the mountain. Take your men up there, that backside of the mountain, to the top. Talk to the Lord himself, all right? That's like Jacob. You can travel and have problems. Jacob has his, he's wrestling with something in the darkness on the desert, and he finds a stone, anoints it with oil, lays down on it for his pillow, and he dreams this ladder, meets God face to face, and is restored. All of these stories talk about coming down, being restored. Even Lot with Sodom and Gomorrah, this tells about how hard it is to actually get to this place without that left side of our minds just knocking at the door, keeping us awake, keeping us from being able to shut down. that the men in the town, in many of these stories, run away the women from the well. They run away. They run off the spiritual side. That's what they do. That's what they're here for. And the Bible shows us that this way is the way of our minds. That Lot becomes that block between the right side and the left side. You can't get to it. He becomes that wall, Jericho, the wall of Jericho, that you have to go around 7 times at the chakra to knock down in order to get to this place on the other side. And there could be this idea of you fighting something larger than you, like David and Goliath, and you have to go at it with just yourself. And you take those 5 smooth stones, which is your skin, and you put them aside. And you choose one, and you aim. You carefully aim for your monster. You hit him right in the single eye. You hit him right between his eyes. This knocks him out long enough for you to cut his head off. And this separates you from the lower and the higher. Just long enough to restore you and bring you back to health and bring everything back to life. And like with Lot, when he finally makes it up to the top of the mountain, his wife is turned to Saul. Now, that's not a negative thing. She's been restored. The spiritual side of us gets restored. That's what it's all about. The white horse, the man coming on the white horse at the end, that's you riding the white horse, because you have overcome the 4 parts of you, the 4 parts of your natures. The physical is the pale side of you. The emotional is the northern side of you. The east is the black side, and the west. The east is the white side. East is where they're beautiful. That's the sun coming up. West is the black side. This is the way it works. It's so much smarter, and it's only about your mind. Not one bit about the front of this thing is the truth. But I will tell you, maybe when it comes down to like who wrote that Bible and who put it all together and stuff like that, it's a mismatch of many different things. The book of Job is an Oriental story, and the entire book of Revelations is taken from the writings of someone called Zoroaster, a Zoroaster of faith that is still being worshipped today. But this is something that was taken word for word, so it was not penned by somebody in a cave someplace, strictly for the Christian and Catholic churches. Not at all. It was stolen from someplace else and set in there. It's like, well, we need to stay. If you recognize, like for the last 20 years, maybe the churches have stopped going with the fire and brimstone, and everyone's complaining. There's really an outside complaint that's there's just not enough of that. You're not scaring these people enough. You're not pushing that. You're talking about prosperity and all this. That's why all these people run around like, Jesus hurting people. Jesus is love. Jesus, but motherfucker, you what? They got Jesus with the Tommy gun in his hand. He's got a gun and a sword, and he's trying to kill people and use it. They have done all kinds of shit to this Jesus since then. And with the minds as they are, they'll believe anything. They have created a bunch of monsters. And that's what it is, when you can believe anything. So now they can hit you with the beast, They've already brought Israel to life, and everyone else is like, what's freaking out, So Islam is created to take it back. Say, one God says, oh, you take, this is yours, and then they got another God coming and said, look, it's time for you to take it back. Sounds to me like this trilogy, this is, has been set up, I call it the 3 cards of the apocalypse, And, that's the 3 Abraham religions, and all 3 of them have different gods. It just so happens that the one, Jehovah, the one for the Jewish people, the command to start out their entire religion was based on this Zoroaster's kings from these people that worship Zoroaster. They were Persian kings. Yeah, Iran and Iraq, all these places. This is where they came from. This is where a bunch of rock gathering Jewish people wound up out there being educated by these people, being let loose in Jerusalem. Ezra, which is Ezra is a scribe in the Bible, is saying brought the words to the Jewish people. He rewrote them. So he's your writer of the Torah. It wouldn't come from God. It certainly wasn't Moses. Moses never existed. Moses couldn't write about his own death, and that's really what happens in this. And because this in the New Testament, it talks about, you know, that they still read these books, that they're still a veil over their hearts. They're reading them real, and they're allegories. They're being treated as being real. So, you know, I'm not the one who is saying that none of these religions are real. The damn book is saying that it's not real. You know, it's telling you to read it correctly. Some group of people decided to, hey, look at what we can do with this. We can mold the world in our image if we chose to do this correctly. We'll just be the spinners for everything that comes about with this Bible. And every goddamn thing about it has been contrived. Every bit of it. And I just think of all the hurt and all the killing, all the mayhem and all the destruction, all stemming from this Bible. That's what makes it hurt. Because I do care. It hurts to think that we've been following a lie for so long, and this very lie is the one reason why the whole world is so fucked up and praying for its end. Because it asks you to do it. I've had enough. And I already had enough. I had enough a long time ago. I had my end time. And I get my rapture every chance I get. I die in Christ is what it's called. I die in Christ every moment I can. And I can all the time. I really can. You know, if I haven't, you know, gone off and lost the juice inside me, you know, just something happens, you know, and I just don't have the physical ability to make it up there. Because I'm missing certain things, you know. Or I'm just so busy, my mind just will not shut up. I have to wait for a quiet time and zip, try to get in there. That's how I do it, you know. But that's what it means to backslide, you know. Instead of going up your back, you're coming down your back. That's backsliding. Oh, you guys. Anyways, I love you. Alright? I wouldn't teach you stuff that was going to hurt you or something like that. That's not the kind of guy that I am. I'm one of those people that once I learn the secret, I share it, you know. And you know, I just find a lot of people don't give a damn about the truth. And that you know, it's just like that story with Moses. The people said that they would rather be enslaved and in bondage instead of starving out in the middle of nowhere being cold. But I'll tell you, I want to remember also the story where Jacob is up there with Laban, and he's up there, he's getting bored, he can't wait to come down the mountain, he can't wait to get back into life. You can't live up in there, you can't stay there. Heaven doesn't last forever. You don't die and go to heaven forever. You die, go to heaven, and you come home. You know, and when you die in real life, when you know, what is it called that? They call that giving up the ghost. You just go looking for another womb to come in. You know, maybe there's some esoteric crazy shit you got to go through, like some kind of pinball before you find yourself in another womb. But it's really all about that. There's nothing out there. There's no hell. This is it. There's no heaven. This is it. You know. And if you want to prescribe to a doctrine that actually works, then, you know, you can believe in the Jesus stuff, you know, believe in him being sick and dying and being killed for you and stuff like that, you know. If that's what keeps you, you know, happy and, you know, and you're bent on the rapture and you're always looking for something, you know, maybe that's what, you know, those little lotteries, you know. I have tons and tons of friends going out giving $1 for the lottery. They're some of the poorest people I know. And I would tell you that they probably give over $5,000 a year to the lottery so that they can have hope. You know? That's the kind of life that we're living. That, you know, to have this hope, to have something, is we'll give anything and have it. We want it. If you learn to go inside yourself, you would take on this bare necessities more thinking. Whereas, you know, forget about your worries and your strife, you know. The bare necessities of life will come to you, you know. But you have to trust in yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to wash yourself of the outside world, you know. Well, that's not so easy for you to do. So the way the story goes, bring your dirty clothes with you. Take yourself as you are. He's bringing you from hell, so you gotta have the hell on you, you know. You gotta have something to clean out. He's not gonna come try to clean up a clean system. So you gotta be already fucked up in some way, you know. And you don't have to be all primmed up and polished to go there. And so you just don't give up. Be that persistent neighbor who just knocks all the time, because that door will be open. That's the way it works. It's your will. You understand? If your father is in you, and your mother is in you, now that you know, seek and you'll find. But you have to seek inside. You have to seek inside. It's the only way. Anyways, I love you and best to you guys.